The sun had gone, and the first stars had come out when we arrived at our house. It was a bungalow, really, made entirely of clouds. A small rainbow waterfall adorned the front garden. It fell into the ground so the house immediately below. Rosemary tried up front and opened up the door with a key hidden under her left ring. "Honey, I'm home," she greeted the house with a giggle as she walked through. I remember looking oddly at her, then around the place. It was small, the corridor being wide enough for one pony to go through. Past the kitchen on my left, again small, but big enough for one pony cooking. I walked further along and noticed the bedroom was bed big enough for two. Walked into the living room as Rosemary popped into one of the couches. The wedding room was like the rest of the house, welcoming, with pictures hanging on the wall of her families and friends. "Well, sit down," she said to me, shifting her rump out of the way so I could sit next to her. I walked over and sat down, my eyes drifting over the living room as we sat in silence. It was about a minute later we started talking again. We talked about anything and everything. The weather, what's hot, what's not, the princess, and how well we think she runs the place. You get the picture. After a while, we both started to get tired and began yawning. "Well," I said, we're going to call it a night." Rosemary looked a bit disappointed, but nodded. "What am I going to sleep anyway?" I asked, immediately with a hand. "Oh, that's easy. With me. My bed's big enough for two," she replied, without any hint of embarrassment. She got up and led me to the bedroom. I hoped she couldn't see the plus on my face as we entered. "You can have the right, I'll have the left," she said, pointing to the bed. On the side, I dropped my saddlebags from my back and fell into the bed. "Good night, Firelink." "Good night, Rosemary," I replied in kind. I closed my eyes and instantly fell asleep. I woke later that night to the sound of sniffling and crying. I was used to being waken up by young Dragonlords who were missing their families and were trying to get used to the fact that we can live forever, and I was used to having to spend the nights comforting them. I thought that during my retirement I wouldn't have to do any comforting and get a full night's sleep for once. I was wrong. I looked over to see Rosemary with her back to me. Shoulders shook as she cried her eyes out over something I didn't know yet. When I flicked on a light, she jumped to turn over, looking at me with tear-stained cheeks and bloodshot eyes. "How long have you been awake?" "Not long," I replied. She rolled over again and continued to cry. "I'm sorry. You shouldn't be seeing this," she sobbed. I shifted around and placed a leg on her shoulder in comfort. "What's wrong?" I asked. She moved her head so she could look at me. "It says you're going away tomorrow. You're leaving me, like everybody else has left me." "I'm sure that's not the case," I said. "You got your sister and your parents, and I'm sure you have friends." She shook her head, eyes spilling even more tears. "My sister hates me. My parents can't stand me, and nobody wants to be my friend. I always get away, like I'm going to you. I'm going to die alone and unwanted. It's just. She trailed off and continued to cry in her forelegs. My eyes went wide, and my heart filled with sorrow and pity for this pony. I lowered myself down so that my belly was touching her back, and wrapped my hose around her. "I don't hate you, and I'm not going to leave you, Rosemary," I whispered into her ears. I could feel her grip in my hooves. "I promise." "Ponies have always said that, but they don't mean it." "I'm not an ordinary pony," I replied, "and I'll keep that promise." I whispered the lullaby it sang into her ears, and she fell asleep not long afterwards. I wiped the wet tears off her face, turned off the light, and fell asleep next to her. I learned later that they fell out over some big argument, Firewing said to a teary-eyed Fluttershy, and afterwards they placed the blame on Rosemary for it. Cruel, I know. "Cruel?" Fluttershy said. "That's just despicable." She was infuriated that her auntie and grandparents could be like that. "Yes, but she seemed quite happy with me by her side that day and night. I decided to stay, for her benefit as well as mine. We are both friendless in this world, so we turned to each other. It gave us a stronger friendship than anything else in this world." I woke to the sound of ponies mind on their own business, the sound of flapping wings that whisked overhead, and the loud calls in the market that was not too far down the road. I noticed that at some point in the night, Rosemary turned over and wrapped her hose around me in an embrace to which there was no escape. I didn't want to move her legs in fear of waking her. She looked so peaceful and content with me there. It's just she was making me keep that promise that I made to her that night. A couple of minutes later, she opened her eyes and looked at me with a warm, loving smile. You're still here. Of course, I replied. I never hold back on my promises. Could you let go of me now, by the way? I really need to use the bathroom. Oh, sorry. She let go of me and let me race off to the bathroom. When I got back, she was busy brushing her mane and preening her feathers. So, what are we going to do today? She asked. See you later, Patrice. See you chariot race cars? I shook my head. I was actually planning on leaving Castile and head to Cantermount. She dropped her brush and turned to face me. Tears threatening to break down, her eyes had started to show. Please hear me out. I continued comfortably. I plan to go to Cantermount, but I don't really want to go alone. Tears stuck back in her eyes, which I might add is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Face level of excitement. You're saying that? I was wondering if you would like to come with me. I asked her. She gave out the biggest, most delightful squeal of pony ears I've ever heard, and jumped me in a hug, pushed me to the ground so she was on top of me, pinning me down. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. She thanked me over and over again. I think that was a yes, son. I asked. She giggled and nodded. With that, I let her pack some things, like bits and a few snacks for the trip there, and first back again. Don't worry about food for coming back. I'm planning on staying there for a night or so. An hour later, she was packed and ready to go to Caroline. I lead the way out the bungalow. She closed the door behind us, locking it and tucking the key under her left wing. Right. So what's the quickest way to Cantermount? I asked as we walked side by side through the street. Oh, that's easy, she said with a mischievous grin that made me feel uncomfortable. By cloud. By cloud? I asked in disbelief, tilting my head to the side. She nodded, but said nothing as she began galloping to the edge of the city closest to Canterlot. It's simple, she explained to me as the long line of clouds came into view. We jump from cloud to cloud until we reach Camelot. All right, sounds easy. But I thought Pegasus made the clouds move, I said. Sometimes they're quicker results, but normally we let the wind move them about. And today, they're all in line. She lined herself up and spread her wings. Racing to Camelot! I'm not really one for racing, I said hesitantly. Oh, okay. She paused with a grin before adding, Slaphuck. Oh, it's on. I said with a grin of my own, and before we knew it, we were in the air, hopping from cloud to cloud, laughing all the way. When I looked up to see where she was, I recalled my jaw dropping as I noticed how far she was out in front of me. She stopped, and looked back, and Blue Raspberry shook her rump at me, making me blush. You can't catch me! She grinned and hopped onto the next one. I grinned and followed quickly. It wasn't much longer until we reached Camelot. Tall spires of the city's towers were our first sight of the majestic white city. We stopped on a cloud that sat just above the city and took deep breaths. It had been a while since I'd run or jumped like that. That was fun, I said. I said to Rosemary, a small smile on my back as I laid. Was it just? I asked Grandpa to do it with me, but he always said no that they were boring, and I hate hanging out with boys. But you and the other have fun too, and I love you. I ain't hanging around with you, she corrected herself, looked away as small blush formed around her cheeks. I noticed her slip up, but I decided to let it pass for now. I got up, looked down at the city below, then turned to face her. Ready to see the sights? She giggled. Tiring? I was born ready. She grabbed a hold of my hoof and jumped off the cloud, hurtling down to the city below. We arrived in relative safety and began exploring the city. For the next 2 days, we saw the palace, which was open to the public back then. The fun fair, museums wherein one Rosemary tried some of the poses, the ponies wearing the paintings, and most of the others visitors' annoyance, but I didn't care about them. All that mattered to me was the piece of art of 4 legs and beautiful eyes. We went shopping, had a lovely meal out, went to the theater where she told me about her parents and sister. She cried silently for a little while, but I was there to get her back on her horse once more, and she was grateful for it. It was in the gardens at the end of the second day where our lives had changed. The sun had gone, and twilight hours closed in with the first stars appearing in the sky. We watched silently, looking at the various statues of the gardens. Waved to two unicorns walking by as they were about to propose, as they were walking with their little colts. We saw Bite Mac and Pear Butter making out over there. We saw Mr. and Mrs. Pie over there. And you thought I wasn't going to reference any of them. I told Rosemary about some of them and what they represent. She was deeply fascinated by them, but more interested in hearing me speak. After a while, we went to a quiet area where we wouldn't be disturbed by any party nearby. So here I decided to ask, Rosemary, you know yesterday, when we came here, you said you loved me, but corrected yourself. Did you mean it? Do you love me? She looked sleepless and backed away fearfully. She gave a small squeak in reply and hid her face behind her mane. My heart was bleeding out now, but at this point, I realized she started to cry. You love me, don't you? Yes! She shrieked through her tears. I remember Flint's her outburst. You're probably the only pony in my life that's been ever kind to me for a very long time, she reasoned. I've said that. I've probably lost you forever. She placed her head in her hooves and continued to cry. I walked up to her. She only placed a hoof under her chin, lifted her head up to look at me. I gave her a small smile as I leaned forward and kissed her lips quickly, before leaning back. I realized at that moment, love was the thing I'd been feeling. It was love for the first sight for both of us. The best feeling I've ever had. I love you too, I replied. She jumped me and pinned me to the ground, placed her lips on mine as we kissed. I wrapped my hose around her waist as I rolled her to the side. The kiss stayed for a very long time. Put our mouths after a while, so we could breathe. We both wore huge, joyous smiles on our faces as I looked into her love-struck eyes. I looked across her face and wiped away the tears from her cheeks. Keep just smiling, I advised. Tears don't suit you at all. Are we a couple now? She asked. Of course. Seem weird lying here kissing a friend. Ah, not unless it's too for dear, she said with a giggle. Good point. I agreed with a chuckle. So, what do you want to do now? She gave me a very seductive smile, and a faint blush formed on her cheeks as well as mine, as I realized what she was implying. She gently rolled me over on my back, sat on top of me, and then got to making Fluttershy! Finally stopped talking and both slid into his mouth. Looked down to see a yellow light portraying his mouth, while at the far end was the blushing, embarrassed face of her daughter. That's lovely and all, but I really don't want to know. You know, that. Firewing's eyes widened as he realized he was going a bit too far. He gave a faint nod, and Fluttershy pulled the hoof away from his mouth. Sorry, sweetheart. He said apologetically while bearing a stupid smile. I sometimes do get a bit carried away when I'm telling a story. But you know, you were asking for it when you said you wanted to know everything. And I thought you meant everything. How I was conceived should not be something you should tell your daughter, Fluttershy said sternly, the blush on her face melting away. Oh, I don't think you were conceived that. I think it was. He was cut off again by another huff in the mouth. All right, I'll stop, he said to the huff. Fluttershy nodded, pulled her huff back away. Thank you. So what happened next? Well, Firewing answered. I think afterwards we fell asleep in each other's embrace in the gardens that night. Luckily we weren't disturbed or found, or even when the morning came. We woke up, cleaned ourselves a bit, and went back to Clydesdale. He paused a moment. A month passed. At that time, Rosemary's parents passed away. Before they died, they asked for forgiveness for their actions, which Rosemary gave while I received their blessings. I got a job, while she made some good friends at least. And one day, after a good day of work, I came home with the greatest news I would ever hear. I managed to find one in one of the weather factories during my retirement in Clydesdale. My job was to make the individual snowflakes that were used to be winter, and I loved every moment of it. I made a few good friends there, including one who I believe is now in charge of the factory. Anyway, I finished my shift, feeling proud of myself to have created around 200 snowflakes in one day. Even the boss was proud of me that day, and I said I might be getting a promotion and a raise very soon. The sun was descending from the sky as I arrived at my home. Well, Rosemary's home, I had to keep reminding myself. I was a guest at her house, but I reminded her myself I was more of a guest. I was a friend and a lover. I popped the spare keys he had given me from my wing and opened the door. Rosemary, darling, I'm home. I called to the house, but I got no reply. Brandis looked around. I saw her favorite horseshoes were on the ground by the door, so she hadn't gotten out. Walked to the living room, saw she wasn't napping there either. My fears came to an abrupt end when I heard the tiptoe sounds of a pony creeping up behind me. A little giggle. I knew instantly, and I grinned. I spun around, went boop into her face before gently tackling her to the ground, herself giggling all the while. I lifted my lips up to hers and wrapped my legs around her, not wanting to leave her side, ever. Even the Dragonlords were now a dim memory, black stained in my mind. At that moment, I even noticed she was trembling. I looked into her eyes and saw nervous excitement in them. What is it? I asked with concern. I felt you trembling. She stammered. It saw me that what was hidden behind her back. Have a look for yourself, she said to me. I took the thing in my hoof and looked at it. My eyes widened when I saw it was a pregnancy test. My eyes even widened further when I saw the plus sign on the front. You're pregnant, I stammered. She gave me a little nod, a small smile on her face. I felt a smile crawl along my face as I realized I was going to become a father. I started laughing for no good reason. I just wanted to express my joy to the world. I wanted to run down the street shouting, I'm going to be a father. But all I did was wrap my forelegs around her, spun her around the room, laughing all the while far laughing along. I stopped spinning, looked at her in her eyes. Rosemary, I want to ask you out at a restaurant tonight, but I think now would be right. I lowered myself to one leg as she took mine. Looked me with wide eyes as he knew what I was going to say. Will you marry me? Yes! She squealed, taking her hold at me. At that moment I felt our bond strengthen. Thought that nothing could separate us. Nothing. I was wrong. So wrong. Oh no. No, 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 no. Ryuk, you put down that death right now! Everybody, you put down your guns! No, you're not aiming at her! You're not taking this one away from me! The wedding was a small but joyous affair. Rosemary's sister didn't come. Heck, I don't even think she was invited. All my friends from the weather factory came and saw us become husband and wife, as well as Rosemary's male friends, congratulating on her for becoming pregnant with you. The next 9 months were quite a blur, actually. We had the bungalow extended to make a baby room for you to sleep in. We had arguments, but they were small, never really got out of half. Our relationship was strong, very strong. The next 9 months was an anxious wait as I watched Rosemary's belly begin to swell. She joked about how fast she looked, but she always kept hold of that smile, like I told her to. I too was excited, but what? Firesight tilted her head a little to the side, curious as to why I hesitated. Why are you so concerned? I didn't know at first, my sweet. He answered. I felt I should remember something about you, but it slipped my mind. I'll come to it later. Oh, okay, so then what happened? Finally, he started to squish them with wire. She started to remember that day. After 9 months of waiting, they were finally coming. That day would be the happiest day and the worst day of my life. Paced up and down the waiting room of the hospital, anxious about the safety of my wife and child. It had been nearly 12 hours since Rosemary's water broke. I had to rush her to the hospital, even as she felt you beginning to make your way out. I glanced at the clock and noticed it was around 11 at night. No pony else around me, so that didn't help my nerves and my body. Sat down, planting my head in my hose, worrying about what was taking so long. Had I forgotten? I looked up when I heard footsteps coming towards the waiting room. I got out of my seat and took a look at anticipation on my face as I saw the nurse coming in. Excuse me, I called to her. Is there any news of my wife and child? She came up to me and looked at me solemnly. I felt my heart beat a little quicker, and began to feel a sense of dread as she stood before me. What's wrong? I demanded. She gestured for me to sit down, which I duly did so. She then said, I'm afraid the labor isn't going well. The flow's coming out the wrong way and stuck, and your wife is losing a lot of blood. I felt tears in my eyes as I heard this. Can you do anything? I said through my tears. She was to place a hoof on mine. We're doing what we can, sir, she said, confidently and professionally. I'm just here to prepare you for the worst. With that, she got up and left me to my thoughts. Wait, I called to her. She turned her head back around. Please, when the fall comes, let me know. Please. She nodded. Of course, sir. She turned and left her through the door. My mind raced with horrific thoughts. Nurse told me to prepare for the worst. Making it impossible for you and Rosemary to die? Fought many battles in my lifetime. Lost good friends. But those losses I endured. The loss of you or Rosemary, however, I don't think I could live through. Another hour or so later, the nurse came back. Good news, you have a healthy daughter. I got up and galloped past her, not even saying thank you, towards the delivery room. I had to hurry. I wanted to see her. I wanted to see you both. I pushed the doors of the living room open and ran up to Rosemary, lying on the bedside, looking weak. I had a small smile on her face. Then I was noticing the abundance of adorables in their 4 legs. That was you, my child. You were wrapped up in a linen cloth. Curious look at your face as you scanned the room about you. Your eyes were as wide as saucers, and only out a foreleg of your pink vein was in view. Tears of joy were in my eyes as I looked at you. I leaned my head forward and nuzzled you gently. You reacted by pressing a hoof to my nose. She's so cute, isn't she? Rosemary said weakly. I nodded, unable to say anything as I looked at you. What shall we call her? I asked eventually. I thought of one earlier, Rosemary said harshly. I didn't want to say anything until it came. That's okay, sweetheart, I said. I brought up a hoof and ran it down her face. What did you think of? My mom once said she wanted to call me Fluttershy, but she said, so you did to me. I want to call our daughter that. If that's okay with you? I looked from her back to you. A little foal, only a few minutes old. Your beautiful cyan eyes staring back at me. I love it, I responded earlier. Fluttershy it is. She smiled, was about to say something, but coughed up a bit of blood instead. I gasped and pressed her nose. Filing, she said. Promise me that. Don't say that. Don't say your goodbyes. I whispered to her ears. I felt tears in my eyes. Listen to me, she said persistently. Promise me you'll look after our daughter. Make sure no harm will come to her. Teach her no harm to others. Teach her to love and cherish everything on my life. Do that for me, won't you? I will, but with you by my side, I promised. Huh. I'm sorry, sir, Dodger said. I could tell from his tone he didn't like what he was about to say. We're going to have to ask you to wait outside while we check on your wife. I looked at him, teary-eyed, back to my wife. Get through this, Rosemary, for your daughter's sake as well as mine. I'll try. She was growing paler and weaker by the second. I failed to notice, probably out of denial, what was transpiring. She looked at me with a small smile, agonizingly raised a hoof and waked my cheeks. Tears don't suit you, my love, she said. A smile's better. I smiled half-heartedly. I'll be back, my love. I'll be back. I got up and watched as you were carrying away, while I walked back to the waiting room, turned my head one last time towards the room, catching a glimpse of my wife, little knowing it would be the last time I see her. 2 hours later, I was told she was dead.
She died of complications of childbirth. Firewing said, looking at the ground with tears in his eyes as he remembered those words going through him like death itself. The doctors tried everything they could. She just lost too much blood. She seemed to lose the will to live. He looked at the fireside with tears of her own. They ran down her cheeks like waterfalls, and she wasn't looking at Firewing at all. Is that? She asked. Is that why you left me? Did you blame me for my mother's death? Firewing shook his head rapidly. Never. I would never blame you for what happened to Rosemary. The reasons I left for you are entirely different altogether. But isn't it my fault, though? Didn't I cause Rosemary to die? Firewings walked over and embraced his daughter in a tight hug. First, I returned the embrace. He stayed like that for a long time. The flare-sized set of tears stopped spilling altogether. The doctors told me later that Rosemary's death couldn't have been avoided, no matter how hard they tried saving her. You had nothing to do with her passing, my child. So stop thinking otherwise. Fluttershy nodded, but inside felt a little guilty. Look at me, Fluttershy. Fluttershy looked up, allowing Firewing to wipe the remaining tears on her cheeks with her hoof. Keep the smile. Tears don't suit you at all. Fluttershy gave a small smile, making Firewing smile in return. So, what happened next? At first, it was hard, being a single parent, but I carried on for your sake as well as mine. Not to mention, at one point, when she was crying in the nursery, a little silent hoof came in and patted her hoof. And somehow that stopped her. I changed your diapers, which, by the way, I'm so glad I didn't have to for long. First, I giggled. I carried on in Rosemary's memory, until a month later, on the last day I would see you for 20 years. I woke up once more to the sound of your crying. You're pleased as you wanted to be fed. I grumbled as I got up and got your milk. Then took it to the crib where you slept. I placed the milk bottle in your mouth and you started suckling. The world went quiet once more. I smiled as I watched you drink. What would Rosemary think of you now? I wondered aloud. How grown up you are. You drank down the whole thing and fell asleep quicker than I ever saw. I was suddenly interrupted by a knock on the door. I walked over and opened it, revealing the mailman. Morning, Firewing! She greeted me. She was old and very sweet, but had a kind heart, and knew your mother and me quite well. Jesse's mom! How's the little fitty? I'm sure she's getting bigger alibi today. I nodded. She sure is, Mrs. Stamp. I said, looked at a secret letter in her huff. Just the one today. She nodded. Yep, to be delivered immediately. Sounds as if I say so myself. The only problem is there's no bleeding return address. As long as it ain't Texas, I'm glad. I chuckled. Thanks, Mrs. Stamp. Take care. She said her goodbyes and left. I closed the door and walked to the living room, also wondering what was in the strange yellow envelope. I sat down and opened the envelope. Took the letter outside and opened it. My heart stopped when I read it. All Dragonlords in retirement are returned to the fortress for emergency deployment immediately. I didn't believe it at first, so I scanned the single line once more, until the message finally sunk into my mind. My retirement for the Dragonlords was over, so soon. But whatever it was sounded urgent, and the Dragonlords sounded desperate. So I had to do my duty, even if it meant leaving my peaceful life behind. I suddenly stopped to realize, with a heart-stopping moment, that one thing. You, my child. I slowly walked over to the room where you lived, and went down to the crib in which you laid. I remember you were sleeping with your hoof in your mouth, sucking on it slowly. I realized in that moment that what I was feeling 9 months ago, when I realized I was going to have you. You had my DNA in you. You were a Dragonlord, a warrior unlike any other. Born of fire and augmented to fight the many evils this world had, and annihilate them without mercy. It was a life I didn't want you to know, or have. I wanted you to have a peaceful life, living in a clown home, like your mother's. Doing ordinary things, fall in love, have children, die 100 years old in your bed, surrounded by family and friends. Not on a battlefield where all you feel is anger and hatred for someone you didn't even know. I promised your mother I would teach you to enjoy life, not harm others. You coming with me would be breaking that promise to her. I knew what I had to do. I hated myself for it. I'm sorry, Rosemary. I whispered aloud. I said about boarding up the house and locking away anything of value to your mother or myself. I got a hold of a basket and wrapped it in baby sheets, waiting until nightfall for the next part of my plan. Dreaded every second of it. Nightfall soon came, quicker than I hoped. Walked up to your crib and gently picked you up, placed you in the basket. Covered you up so you were nice and warm, took you outside. The streets were thankfully empty. It was one of those rare cases where Cloudsdale was low enough for rain to fall on. Walked on through, my tears covered by the rain, to the orphanage I knew was nearby, where I knew you'd be safe. When I arrived, I could see a light was on, so thankfully I walked over and knocked on the door. Hello? And an old, kind voice called from the other side. The door opened to reveal a white old mare with huge glasses on her face. Good evening, sir. Ready to adopt? I dolefully shook my head. I'm afraid not. I'm here to place my child in your care. When I explained my predicament and why I had to leave her, the old mare's eyes widened in tail, but she accepted it. I'm so sorry about that, my dear. Can I live with a girl? I said, yes. Placed the blanket on the ground, where he showed her, you. Mare's face lit up in joy as she studied you. She has to be one of the most adorable fillies I've ever seen. I'll take care of you for her, my dear. A few more things, I said. I'd been down now myself, but I gave it to her. Give this to her when she is of age, and you got her a cutie mark. Tell her it gives good luck. I paused before adding, tell her she asks. She was found out here alone. She wants to find you again. She cannot. It's important that she thinks I'm dead. For her own safety. She didn't like it. Her eyes told me that. She accepted it. I will. Would you like to say your goodbyes now? I nodded and bent down and nuzzled your face. Forgive me, Fluttershy. I took back tears. Forget me and live the way your mother wanted. Peacefully. Maybe I'll pass the house again. Who knows? But I don't want that. And if you knew what I truly was, you wouldn't either. Goodbye, my girl. Goodbye, my love. I nuzzled you once more before looking away, galloping into the night. Never once did I look back. Woo! People! This is how you do some emotional rendering! This is how you make me feel connected to characters! Every single one of you fanfic writers I've had to deal with for the past few years, take freaking note! This is how you get me emotionally attached to your story! Fluttershy was stunned. Her eyes went wild as old faded memories. What had been locked away for so long began to form in her mind. Memories of her father leaving her at the orphanage. The rain she could feel falling on her face as he said his goodbyes. So, you were trying to save me from this? Fireman gave a sad nod of his head. Yes. I hoped keeping you away from me would prevent you from learning of your Dragonlord heritage. But it seems his fate and destiny had other ideas. Well, why couldn't it be with my auntie? First I asked. She may not like how her aunt was, but she was still family. Your auntie never knew you existed, Fluttershy. Firewing answered. Rosemary and I sent a letter to her, but we never received a reply. We assumed she threw it away when she saw her own spy. It was, however, enough for the authorities to track you down, give you the deeds of the cottage of Ponyville. Yeah, I remember that day. It was a beautiful day outside, and it was summer, so we had all the time off of school. I remember sitting on my bed in the far corner with all the other coats of fillies, reading a Dairy Dew book. I looked up and heard one of my carers call my name. Yes, miss? Miss Foster would like to see you, my dear, she said with a warm smile. She could see the worry on my face and laughed. Don't worry, Fluttershy. You're not in trouble. You never are. I smiled as I got up and headed to the office where Miss Foster sat. She was always a kind mare. It saw me as a daughter she couldn't have. I recall she once said to me about adopting me herself, but then for some reason, still I didn't mind. I walked to the door and gave it a light tap. Come in, I heard from the other side. It was greeted by a loving smile from Miss Foster. Fluttershy, so good to see you. Thank you, Miss Foster. I curtsied. I walked in and sat in a chair in front of her desk. First off, my condolences to you. Congratulations. I tilted my head at a weird angle and said, Excuse me? First thing, she explained, I'm holding up a piece of paper. This said you had an auntie living in Ponyville, but she has recently died, and since she has no children or family of her own, the guys, as well as her possessions, passed down to you. I recall my heart skipping a few beats before accelerating to overdrive. My raced with thoughts that went too fast to remember. Only one, however, stayed. I had a home now, my own home. What? I stammered. What does that mean? She nodded. The pain of what she was about to say was clearing in her eyes. Yes, you'll have to leave here. My heart dropped to my stomach as I realized what was happening. I was gaining a home, but I had to be losing the only home I knew. But I don't know anything about a home, let alone looking after one. That's that. She got up and walked around her desk and knelt to look at me in the eye. You don't want to stay cooped up here all your life, do you? I shook my head. You'll be fine, my dear. The cows and I have taught you all you need to survive on your own. Yes, living in would be daunting, but in time you'll grunt enough it. And I'm sure it'll be as bright and loving as you are. I smiled, wrapped my forelegs around her hug. Come visit me, please. I'll try to give that a try. She paused. Now, go pack your things. No, I didn't walk down the room. I only heard the sound of her crying as I left. No, I should be crying also, but I found I couldn't. I shouldn't. Like Miss Foster said, I should be looking forward to this. The more I thought about it, the more exciting it got. I could stay up as long as I liked. I could have my own bedroom to sleep in, my own bathroom, read what I want, go where I want. Everything I could ever have stayed here. I packed up my things and said aloud, goodbye. All the other fillies had colts, but he didn't hear me and laughed. I looked at the orphanage door, and as I got to the main gate, I looked back at the only home I knew. I felt like I would stood there for a long time. Or by the time I had gone and got my way to leaving Cloudsdale, the sun was beginning to set. Fluttershy finished talking and took a deep breath. Very rare for her to talk at this length of time, and in that much detail, but it felt liberating to talk about something she had in a long time, except for her friends. I know that telling you about why I left won't bother me for my actions, Fluttershy, Irene said after a moment of silence. I had to let you know it would have been wrong of me to keep it locked up. Just that I know I love you, Fluttershy. Irene bowed his head and wept silently. At that moment, Fluttershy realized he had been paying for 20 years, beating himself up for a long time over it, and now, while letting it out, became agony for him. Fluttershy knew she had to put it right, knew the only way how, through kindness. She got up and walked over to her weeping father and embraced him. I forgive you, she said, rubbing circles across his back. Riley's eyes shot open. What did Fluttershy with wide, disbelieving eyes? I don't. It's cut off, and Fluttershy gently pressed her lips together with a hoof. It gave him a loving smile. What you did, Dad, I cannot condemn. So I've done something similar. So I know how much pain you're in. You think you don't deserve forgiveness, but you do, Dad. Every pony does. She gave him a light kiss on the forehead. You've been in pain for 20 years, Firewing, and I'm here to heal you. She wrapped her legs around her father once more, gave him a tight embrace. Firewing was at first stunned, but he returned the embrace just as tightly. That moment he felt 20 years of pain and heavy torment on himself go away. Felt lighter than he ever had in his life. Felt relief, and all this from 3 words he thought he would never hear for his actions. They stayed like that for a long time, leaning silently on each other's shoulders, while the owls howled and mice scurried about. Fluttershy eventually let go and gave her father the loving smile that reminded him of Rosemary. Feeling better? Fluttershy asked. A bit, thanks to you, Firewing said. Let the towards the night sky and sighed. Let's get in night. I think we should call it a night. Fluttershy nodded and sitting closer to the fire to keep warm. Dad? A grunt was the reply. What are you going to do when this is over? I don't know, he replied. I know that after this, I don't want to take up my sword again. Why? Because I was just wondering. She paused for a moment before blurting out, would you like to come live with me in Ponyville? Finally opened his eyes and looked at his daughter. He could see the pleading look in her eyes and smiled. I would like that a lot. Fluttershy beamed and let out a squeal until like, oh, you're going to live in Ponyville. It's lovely ponies, delicious foods,
Supposed to just relax during the day. Maybe we can play games of in.
She stopped when noticing her father was asleep.
Oh.
She placed her over her mouth.
Sorry.
No! No! I won't lose this one! I will not lose Fluttershy's dad! She sat herself down on the grass and tucked her legs into her stomach, rested her head on the soft grass, and fell asleep. Her dreams were full of things she was going to do with her father once she returned home. Things which she could never do in her childhood. Firewing, dead by. Don't you dare, Light! No! We're not going to lose this one! I can't lose another character, an OC that I just started to care for! I mean, after sitting through so many bad fics where the characters are Alice's character and with badly done OCs just meant for the banging, I finally found one I liked again, and I'm not losing one! I can't.